Hi loves, welcome back to my channel. If you haven't subscribed, please remember to subscribe. Thank you so much everyone else that is part of the family. Welcome. So what I want to talk about today is something that I have really been in contention with, which is alcohol. And I was asking myself, should Christians really drink? And for me, instantly I was gonna say no, because what for, and I'm judging this based on how I used to act when I was inebriated. Let's use big words today. I remember for me the first time I got drunk, I was in high school. Okay, so first of all, let's be very honest. I'm an honest person. I never used to like applying myself in school, in high school. So this period when I got drunk, me and my group, because we were the naughty bunch apparently, we had gone back to school, I think earlier, for like 2 weeks, earlier than everyone else. Like Anita, them, my twin, that liked their books. So we'd gone for supplementary classes and we were there for I think like an extra week or two. I don't really recall, but I remember the first week we had money. Of course, yeah, you're given pocket money when you're in high school. So me and a bunch of girls decided to jump the school fence and go and purchase liquor. Okay, obviously not everyone went, but obviously your girl went because hey, I like adventure. So we went to bought cheap liquor, like spirits and stuff like that. I know Safari cane, Kenya cane, just stuff like that. I don't even think we bought any chasers. I can't really recall, but I highly doubt we even knew what chasers were. I just know that we bought cheap liquor. Okay, so came back to school, changed back into our uniforms, and school was in Karatina, so you can imagine the environment. Okay, so went back to school and started popping sachets. I mean, I guess I can't say popping bottles because it was sachets. I don't remember if there must have been one bottle though, because that alcohol was a lot, because many of us came together when we bought the liquor. Because so I got wasted. I haven't gotten that wasted in my life since that time. Like, I couldn't see in front of me. Okay, I was throwing up on my pillow and I said I am never going to drink liquor again. I think I was in form 2 at that point and we were never caught, luckily. But yeah, that was the first time I actually got very drunk. And then come university, and at first I was in USIU, and if you've been to USIU or you know about USIU and you've been in the environs of USIU, fifis, like drinking has become such a normal and common thing that we don't pause to question why do we even drink in the first place. So for you to have liquor joints right adjacent to learning institutions, I don't know, for me I feel like it's all strategic. A lot of times we assume that we make decisions based on just what we see, but a lot of times decisions are made in the spirit realm and all of that stuff that I'm not going to get into, but I feel like it's very, very strategic. So I would drink, and oh my gosh, I know that had I not had liquor, had I not been drinking in university, there's a lot of stuff that I wouldn't have done. Because if I want to feel brave, or if we're going clubbing and liquid courage and all of that stuff, and you take pre-shots, it's called pre-drinks. So we'd have pre-drinks, and there's some stuff that I did when I was not sober that I would never do had I been sober. And it escalates, because as much as I started with the spirits in high school, usually it starts from a glass of wine, and I know people that they just started with things like Smirnoff Ice and a glass of wine, and slowly you graduate to vodkas and brandies and whatever it is, but like strong liquor. And going through the Bible, I know drinking isn't exactly a sin, but I believe that every individual needs to look at their own lives. You need to track your life. You need to study your patterns and your behaviors when you drink. What is it you do? Are you proud? Is it stuff that takes you that you know God wouldn't be happy about? You know, and the thing with liquor and what I think the enemy does with liquor and why it's so widespread and why it's so advertised and pushed, because if you look at TV, it's liquor ads everywhere, social media, it's liquor promotion everywhere. And for me, I think that so long as you're a Christian, and I don't know how for me as a Christian, I don't think that I can push liquor, because you can't tell people only drink this much. You know, you cannot, yes, they say drink responsibly, but when you're drinking, like for me personally, I know my limits when it comes to alcohol, based on the fact that I was drinking a lot. Well, not a lot, but growing up now, you know, you drink. So even when I know that I've gotten to my limit, you're just holding your glass and you just find yourself taking little tiny sips, and before you know it, the drink that you said you're not gonna finish is finished, and you're acting crazy, and it's linked to promiscuity, and it's linked to theft and murder, and so many things come with being drunk, because now your mind is not as it should be. Okay, first of all, the Holy Spirit is not even in your radar. It's pretty much an open door for any spirit to come and tell you to do random things. And the thing is, it will always be a first person voice. I always say that, like, when the spirit that is not of God is communicating something to you, it will always sound like it's your own thought. So it will always be like, do this, do that, or you're just having fun, or just take one or two more. And you remember, like I spoke about my last video, I spoke about when I went for a barbecue and I was very uncomfortable and stuff like that. And I know that there's scripture that says that God pulls you out from situations where, or rather from where you're not supposed to be, and I know that that's what happened to me. But I never judge people that drink, because I used to drink as well, but I was of the mindset that it's wrong and Christians should not drink at all. But then if you go through the Bible, I know what God is against is drunkenness, and that is where we find ourselves most times. It's drunk and disorderly. Just check your life and see, and you ask yourself these questions. As a Christian, the things that alcohol makes me do, are they pleasing to God? You know, the dancing, the dressing, the kind of music you're listening to, just the sort of things that you're feeding your spirit, are they things that God would have you listen to, or are there things that God would have you do? And it's so important to ask yourself these things, because no one else can ask these questions. No one can do it for you. And so long as you try to grow spiritually, and I get a lot of messages about, you know, people trying to get closer to God and trying to hear God, but your mind has to be clear, your mind has to be sober, because there's so many voices operating around, and you need to be able to distinguish which one is of God. So if you're not clear-minded, you're not going to be able to tell. And as a Christian, once you become born again, every single thing that you used to do, things that people in the world do, you can't really associate yourself with that. You know, there has to be a difference between you and someone that is not a Christian. So if you say you're a Christian, but you're both getting drunk and acting out and acting crazy, then you need to ask yourself, am I really a Christian? Because the essence of being born again is you leaving behind everything you used to know to now pick up the things of God and pick up the teachings of Jesus and actually live it. It's not just by saying, I'm a Christian and I'm born again and stuff like that. No, your life has to reflect it. Do I think Christians should drink and promote liquor and, you know, be around such environments where people are drunk and disorderly? No, because it's very easy to get influenced, because it's your friends that are going to come and be like, just have a shot, just take this, let's drink this, let's finish this, and you'll be encouraging each other to drink. It will never sound like anything bad, because I mean, you're having fun. No one thinks deep at that point. You're just having fun. So it's always going to be your friends and people around you that will be encouraging you to drink. You need to be ready to be called boring. You need to be ready to be called dull, because there's so many situations that you can avoid by not being drunk. You know, you can have a glass of wine here or there, you know, you can have just something here and there, but getting drunk is not Christian at all. I also don't believe promoting the drinking of liquor is Christian at all. I actually made another video speaking about this, but I was feeling very uncomfortable with it. So for me, when I'm feeling uncomfortable with something, I always take it back to God. Okay, so randomly, I think it was the day after I made the video of, you know, liquor, and I was like, no, Christians should not drink anything at all, should not be in environments where people are drinking, should not engage with people that are drunk and disorderly and all of that stuff. And for me, the way God speaks to me, sometimes it's not just a voice, it can be something like books and stuff. And this is actually the third time that he's used books to teach me something. So I was randomly just looking for something to do. Actually, I wanted to relax, but I didn't want to be scrolling through social media and stuff like that. So I went to the study in the house, and I was looking through books, and I picked a book. I think it was a Connelly or something, I don't know. And then randomly I just saw this one, and it's called The Measure of a Lady. I literally just picked any book because I just wanted to read for that day. So I'm going through it, and I'm reading the book, and guys, I kid you not, like towards the end, all the questions that I was asking. So the reason I was even asking myself these questions is because based on the fact that the last time I was around people that were drinking and, you know, listening to secular music and that environment, I felt really uncomfortable. So I was having my grandma's birthday coming up, so a lot of family was coming, and it was a big celebration. It just passed yesterday. So I was asking, like, should I go? Like, God, should I go? Because I remember last time when I went for the barbecue and I came back, I was so torn, and y'all, like, I literally cried because I was like, Lord, I don't want to do anything or go anywhere that you haven't sent me, because I'm very keen and I'm being very particular about where I go, because I can't see what will happen. I don't know who I will be around in those situations. Only God knows what can happen. So I take everything before him, and I don't go unless I get confirmation. So I was really asking, should I really attend this family function? Because obviously I knew there'd be liquor, I know how we used to drink and all of that stuff. So, and I was like, okay, just because it's family doesn't mean that it's okay. You know, this is just conversation that I was having with God. I can't say, okay, I can't be around situations where people I don't know are drinking and acting up, but then now because it's family, then it's okay to be in the same environment that I'm saying I can't be in, because then blood is involved. No. So I was taking these questions before God. So now he had me randomly read a book. I just randomly went into my study, because this is how God talks to me sometimes. It's going to be through books. God talks to people in so many different ways. So the one that works the most for every individual, he sees that, and it's what he's gonna use a lot. So for me, it's been books. So this is the third time God has actually brought a book my way. So I just randomly walked into my study, and I'm picking through books, and I selected one first, and then as I was walking out, this one just jumped out at me. I had never seen it before. So I pick it up, and it's called The Measure of a Lady, and it's by Diane Gist. So I'm just thinking, well, I'm just old school ladies, all this 1800s stuff, right? So I'm reading, and guess what the book is talking about? The same questions that I was asking God, you know. And I came to the realization that just because I'm not doing something, or just because I'm convicted to not do something, because I was of the opinion actually that Christians should not drink at all whatsoever, you know, because we tend to not know how to control ourselves, so to speak. So here I am, I'm reading this book, and it's a lady, it's based in San Francisco in the 1800s, and she's, you know, very saved, and she's been brought up as a proper prim and proper lady. Very, very, they're called sunbonnets. Just the way you dress and the way you interact with people, and you know, you have to be away from people like prostitutes, you have to be away from people that are drinking, you cannot sell liquor and just all of that stuff. So she used to judge every single person around her. And then the sister, the younger sister, because their dad died when they got to San Francisco, the younger sister actually became like a woman of the street, like not a prostitute, but she started dating an older man, and you know, lost her virginity, which was such a taboo, and so she was excommunicated. This now lady, she had a restaurant and she refused to serve prostitutes, she refused to serve alcohol, she refused to interact with people that are drinking and stuff like that. And I was like, wow, this is exactly what I've been wondering about. And at the end of the book, she realizes, rather God reveals to her, that let these people see a different light in you, you know, teach and give them something to emulate. You judging anybody or you keeping yourself away from people that also need the same growth that you're experiencing doesn't serve God per se. So there should be no judgment, there should be no condemnation, there should be no separating yourself per se. I'm not saying, okay, I don't believe Christians have actually any business going to clubs unless God tells you specifically go to a club, because he can't do that because he wants you to reach out to someone that is there. I know someone that happens to a lot of the times. He'll go to clubs and before he leaves, he's talked to someone about God, and he'll understand that yes, that was why he went to the club. He doesn't just go to the club randomly. God asked them to go to the club, and he doesn't drink, and he was an alcoholic before he came to Christ. So there are such instances where you can interact in that way, but I don't believe born-again Christians and people that are seeking God have any business being in places where the enemy is rampant and where there's nothing to do with God there. As much as these days, I know sometimes they play even Christian tracks, it's now just become a form of entertainment. It has nothing to do with glorifying and praising God. You know, it's liquor and getting drunk and listening to songs that have nothing to do with God, and they do nothing for your spirit other than poison you. They poison your soul, they corrupt your spirit. And there's people among you, there's people in the club that, you know, are drunk and disorderly, and that's how so many things tend to happen in clubs if you look at it. So I don't believe Christians need to be in clubs and in such spaces. But should Christians drink or not? I think if it's once in a while, like moderation, a little sip here, sip there, if you don't feel convicted not to, then that's on you. But if you feel convicted not to, because things are different for different people, God knows each and every individual. So if he knows what the madness that I do when I'm drunk, he's gonna tell me do not drink. So for me, I do not drink at all. I stopped drinking completely because madness happens. And yeah, for another person can just be, you know, they can be permitted to have a glass of wine here and there. There's no judgment whatsoever. So every individual pretty much just has to check for themselves where they stand with God, not based on their own opinion. You need to track your life and see the things you do when you're drunk. Just go through your past, like just flip through the back pages and see the things and the situations you've put yourself in when you're drunk, and make that decision wisely. Do you have any business drinking or not? And take it before God. And you know, if you're not supposed to be drinking, then Spirit will let you know. It's for you to obey or not obey. So I did end up going for for the family function. It was amazing. So many beautiful things happened, and I understand why I actually needed to go. So if I had prejudged the situation like I had before and not gone because I'm saying they'll be drunkenness and all of that stuff, I would have missed out on a great deal. So I'm very grateful to God for this book. I don't know if anyone wants to borrow it, just hit me up in the comments, and I'll share it with you if it's possible. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Actually, guys, I had recorded a video and I'm just gonna put some clips here because I did have a bottle of champagne, and I did have a bottle of Moscato. I think it was Santero, which I completely shattered. Well, I didn't shatter them, but I broke them. Like, I poured the liquor, I was like popping bottles. Maybe I'll put that footage here if I'm able to, and yeah, let me know what you guys think about liquor and Christians drinking. Are you for it? Are you against? What do you think? But then also remember, at the end of the day, it has nothing to do with our opinion. That's why I'm saying always take every single thing back to God and let him make it clear for you as an individual. The problem is we tend to judge our selves based on what other people are doing. So you feel like, oh, because so and so person who's a holy Joe or whatever is drinking, that it means that you can also drink. It's based on your relationship with God. Let him tell you what you as an individual need to do. Stop looking, because alcohol now, like, our parents are drinking, our aunts and uncles are drinking, our cousins are drinking, every single person is drinking, kids are drinking nowadays, and it's doing so much damage in the society that we don't even see it. It's only later, I guess, that it will be seen, but like, it's crazy, y'all. Like, it's crazy. So we all need to be very careful when it comes to liquor. Ask yourself some very important questions, and if truly you're seeking God and wanting to grow in the faith and wanting to build your relationship with God, then you can't live how you used to live before coming to God. You have no business partying the way you used to party before. You have no business dressing how you used to dress before, talking how you used to talk before, dancing how you used to dance before, because those were ways of the world. So now when you come to this other side, then things need to change. And I feel like drinking, for me, let me say, drinking was one of the very important things that needed to change, okay? Because my mind needed to be clear at all times. I needed to have control of myself at all times. I needed to be able to distinguish which voice, or just distinguish the voice of God. And I feel like liquor leads to so many things, guys. Liquor leads to so many things. It's connected to, like, drunkenness is connected to things like depression, promiscuity, crimes like rapes, murder, all of these things. So ask yourself, why is it something that is being pushed so much? Whose agenda is it? Because I mean, it's definitely not God's agenda. That's why I feel like, as an influencer, I cannot push alcohol. I honestly don't think that any influencer should push alcohol, because I feel like if I do push alcohol, then and then still call myself a Christian, I will be judged for it, because I'm encouraging people to do something that is not of God, which is drunkenness. Because now you can't come and control people's liquor. You can't, like, every time people see you're drinking and you're promoting alcohol, what is it exactly that you're pushing? That is not godly, and I wouldn't do it. But I guess every single person has their own conviction, and every single person needs to check with God and not take things lightly. So yeah, that's pretty much it with this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.